format.
Oh shit, he done snuck it in now, man.
Yeah. It's like, hey, people, what's happening?
What's going on, y'all?
Doing a little something right quick. Sharing some stuff. It is Tuesday. We're on a new time, new place. Well, same place, new time. Um, um, and hey, people. I see we got one person on. I'm waiting a second, right quick. How your day been, bro?
Oh, my day was it was full. You know, it wasn't bad. I made it home in one piece, so
Mhm. That's
it's a
always
good
a good
day.
thing.
It's a good day, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still got your fingers and
Still
toes.
got all my as far as I yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I got all my stuff. What about you? What's going on with you today?
Work, work, work and work. You know, it wasn't a bad day, and they allowed me to make some money,
Oh,
and didn't. Okay, yeah, she got that. So yeah, allowed me to make some money, and they didn't bother me too much. I didn't. My boss didn't bother me, so
hey, he your supervisor. He ain't your
yeah.
boss.
Well, yeah. No, my boss. He ain't my boss. Supervisor. Yeah, he my boss.
He ain't your
Stay
boss.
boss. Yeah, but yeah, everything cool though. I can't complain. You know, as long as I'm able to
Right.
breathe air and
Grass still green.
yeah,
Money still spin. So
yeah,
ain't much change.
that's important. You know, people out here depressed about different things. You know, life is good as long as you
As long as you realize it and
realize
embrace it,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
life
But
is a good thing.
so many people focus on negative stuff, and woe is me.
Yeah, that was a post I put a post up basically kind of saying that earlier, um, about how let me look it up because I don't remember what it said. I'm always posting stuff. Okay, so a wise man once said, "Bees don't waste their time explaining to flies that honey is better than shit."
Right?
You know,
Is that what you like? That
yeah,
what you like?
yeah. You know, come on, life is what you make it. Like, look
Right?
at the good parts of life, and
Because I see flies eat honey too, but they
but they be on shit
they be
though.
on some shit
You
too
see
much.
some shit, you see a way more flies on
Ain't
shit.
no bees over there.
Mm,
They got their life together. They're
uh,
like, yeah, man. I
but
guess flies, they like we don't care. We just need something to get on.
yeah, yeah. So okay, starting up. So the topic today
All right, let's hear.
is I'm gonna put it up there since um are you part of the solution or part of the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Um this is a follow up to our last week's show, which was about relationships in the black community, trying to point out um, the problems in the black community, and where does the problem lie, and how can we, kind of solve the problems or do something to try to alleviate some of the problems. So this question is to people that are listening or people that are that the problems. You got to ask yourself: are you part of the solution? You part of the problem? Um, Too many times we see people passing on information, um, problematic information.
Right.
Certain things that we hear from either one gender or the other that make it seem a certain way, like the black community is some kind of way different than any other community, which we're not,
Nope.
but we treat it that way, and we move like we have. Well, no, hold on. We believe certain things that are sent to us, that are put in front of us, and we carry those messages to other people. I'm gonna put it that way.
Give some examples. This one.
Shit.
That's okay.
Shit. Example. Okay. Um.
Which one you see the
Black
most?
men are deadbeat dads.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
heard that.
that's you hear that all the time.
Heard it.
Black men are broke,
Mhm.
irresponsible.
Mhm.
Um, then you hear the stuff about black women being angry black
Angry
women.
black woman. Yeah, you hear that quite a bit.
And I think they're stereotypical, but I think we have groups of people that play into both of those stereotypes.
I hear angry black woman more from black women than I do
No,
anybody else.
yeah, black men, we don't we
I
don't
don't
care
use.
about it.
Yeah, I don't
You know,
use.
we don't really care if they're angry or not. I mean, either we deal with you don't. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't sit there and fuss about, oh, she angry. Oh, I don't like black women. No, that's not what
That's not
happens.
how it works. Not for
Because
me.
y'all got what we want. So we don't keep saying that. Y'all got what we want. So we, the ones that are concerned about y'all being angry, that's probably because they can't get what you got. That's the only problem they have. But it's those stereotypes and stuff that we pass on each other. And the most damaging part is we pass it on to younger generation. So
That's the hurtful part.
it hurts future generations, and that's why we're at today, because the generation before us fed us information, or fed other people information that we carried on, and we're still living within that aspect, not even realizing that we control that shit. Like, we control our own outcomes, we control our own reality. You have any?
No. I wanted to just give one, but you just kept on going. I was like, man, slow down. But I've heard all those before, and but like you said, the generation before us was passed along what I think has been a lot of bad information that needs to be corrected, and hopefully we can correct the next generation. Everybody should need. It's going to take everybody to do something in order to correct the next generation coming along. But it's like I said, you said this last week. It's no longer about us. We here. We are who we are. Let's try to fix what we got. Let's try to improve on what we have now for the future. And right now it don't look good. I'll be honest. It's gonna be some work. You're gonna have to reach down a little bit deeper to like the newborns. We're gonna have to get to the 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, or something, if that's possible.
Okay, and for the 2 that's on, or 3 or 4, or whatever, because they got people different places watching. I can't see right now. I'm gonna go ahead on, and if y'all want to be a part of the stream and give y'all thoughts, whatever.
Yeah, y'all jump in here, and
I'm gonna put the stream
and let us know if you're part of the problem or the solution.
I'm gonna put the stream thing in the comments. The site you just have to go to, and invite you on, and you can say what you got to say, your thoughts about it. So like we went over a couple things as far as being a problem. I can't remember what it was. We agreed on something because we had Dr. Toya on here last week, and I said we have to have a common ground. That's what we said.
Oh yeah,
we had to have
we got to start
ground.
some kind of a starting point to where everybody agrees. Okay, this is where we need to begin, and then work from there.
Yeah, and it was more or less. We have to. Oh, I know what it was. We have to agree that we have to worry about the future generations. That's a great starting point, because majority of people in our community have kids, or they have youngsters in their life that they care about, and they don't want to see go through different things. And 1 second while I pull this up, but I had also posted something on Instagram. It was the Black Code. It's something I found. Actually, it's something I put up maybe 3 years ago, and it came up on my memory in Facebook. And the Black Code was that we do not steal from one another, we do not kill one another, we do not sell or offer drugs to one another. We do not combine our dollars and buy collectively as a group. We protect our own women and children first. We educate our own at every chance. We do not fight one another. Brothers protect and build one another. Sisters protect and build up one another. Brothers protect and build up sisters. Sisters protect and build up brothers. We look for every opportunity to start our own business, servicing the needs of the people first. And I found that to be something like the commandments, something that could be handed down.
Okay.
Well,
we got to start to follow it, though.
yeah, we gotta get some people.
We gotta get on board, right? Because I was like, no, yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, but that's what we're talking about now. What is the solution? I want to be a part of the solution, and I think sometimes I turn into a little knick-knock. What's he called?
Knick-knock.
Yeah, and I might be a slight part of the problem. But I try to correct it whenever I see it going on. But I definitely want to be a part of the solution now.
So I'm gonna go ahead and run the intro, because we gave whatever, and
yeah, let's run this intro.
Run the intro,
this
and
is professional right here.
Hopefully get some people that want to come on and let us know if they're part of the problem or solution, if they feel they're part of the problem or solution. Anyway, yeah, I was doing some technical stuff, technicalities.
That intro is dramatic, boy.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's it take you to another place, man.
I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. I see something I want to do in it, so
man.
I'm gonna change just a tad bit. I want to make it. I want to personalize it more, but
okay.
Trying to always grow. So let me think. You were saying about you might be part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, are we speaking just strictly in relationships between men and women, or are we talking about raising up the youth, or what direction we looking?
Well, I mean, I think it would start. It has to start with. It has to start with our interactions with each other, the opposite sex, because I think that gets relayed whether we say it verbally or not.
Right.
That gets relayed to the youth looking at us.
Right.
Any youth getting on the internet, on Facebook, whatever, might join these groups. They could get on there at 14, 15 years old sometime and think about them looking at some of this information that people, that they pass on.
Some of this interactions. I won't even call it information.
Yeah. Well, interactions.
But
or lack of information.
Right. I honestly think for the most part, I do my part trying to. I think relationships are a necessary thing, and when I say relationships, it's not just a, I guess, a love interest or with the future of children, but just being able to interact with the opposite sex, because sometimes you can't even have a basic conversation, about anything, to get clarity. It can get tense sometimes between men and women in our culture. And I'm not sure where that derived from. I know you got some opinions about that.
I mean, I always go back to my timeline as far as where I feel it started at, in the breakdown of the Black community is part of that. Then you got the drug situation, drugs into our community. But like I think we said this last week, was that the reason why we're able to be so susceptible to all this other stuff is because we have nothing to hold on to. Right. Our whole heritage,
the foundation is we have not there. It's none of this, and we do have history. It's just that we don't know enough about it. Some of the highlights in our history, to where we can stand on that and have something that to build upon. So it's up to us. Like I said, we're gonna have to dig deep and create a foundation for the future. But back to the problem and solution. Yeah, I want to say my goal is to be a solution to the problem, but it takes work, and I always like to start from the inside and work my way out. So, and when I say that, that means that starts with me. Yeah, I got to be good before anybody else can be good, and then from there that carries on to my relationship with my wife, and then from there, to my kids, and then hopefully, if I can pour enough into them, then I have something to give outside of my nuclear family. You know what I mean? But it's hard work.
And I want to say where I think you're part of the solution, right? What you just explained. Being out with your wife and your kids and everything, and people seeing a Black man with a family, then they could look and say, okay, you know what? Wow, that's what that looked like.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because I've gotten compliments just being out with my family. And I don't know if it was because we were Black, or we were just because we was a family.
Look at y'all Black ass people.
I think it was a combination.
Black ass family.
And it's funny because I got certain rules. We go out and have dinner or whatever. There's no cell phones at the table. We're gonna talk to one another. We out here to enjoy each other's company, so we're gonna do that. So you know, and we're so used to doing it. It's always been like that. So
Mhm.
we're so used to doing it that people see it and it looks strange to them. They,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
wow, these people talking to each other. What the hell wrong with this
What is-
family?
Is that damn communication over
Right.
there?
What
Oh,
are they
shit.
doing? They're using their words. They're not
They're not
texting.
grunting at each other.
Right. So, but I have got compliments in it, and you know, I wasn't doing it for any outside influence. Right.
Mhm.
This is because this is my family, you know, and I cherish them. You know, I believe in them, and I want to, you know, I really care about how they feel, or you know, whatever the interaction. We have a good time when we hang out together. My kids are getting older now, so you know, they trying to get too cool for school, but you know, they never be too cool for me. So I just bring them back to earth. You know, I don't even
You're gonna make
my
me
time.
get on the internet, and then I'm gonna be cool again.
Right. Don't make me.
You don't make me get on the internet. You better chill out.
Yeah,
You better talk to me.
Don't make me Google you or whatever.
Google me.
Right.
Mm.
But yeah, and but I think it's good for people to see that, you know, the family structure, and they're like, and I think I brought it up. Everybody doesn't believe in necessarily marriage or whatever, but we got to have something in place to, you know, to rear our future in a protection where they're going to get the right leadership and guidance. So, you know, and I said American way is the nuclear family, but it's many ways you can do that. You know, mentoring, things of that nature. But you know, just be part of the solution, like you said. But yeah,
And like back to what you said about not being like marriage or not being everybody doesn't believe in marriage, so everybody doesn't believe in marriage, but just seeing it, black people, a man and a woman, and their kid and the kids, whether it's your kids or not, but in a certain light, it's like, oh, look, they look like,
right.
you know, they care for one another,
Right.
You know, they look like decent people, like they're not hating each other. You know, it's like you don't get that drama. So I think that is a big component of changing what we you know, our outcome.
Yeah, you made me, when you said that, you made me think about something, because we went out there to dinner last week, and young lady sitting there with her son. He was probably 6 or 7. She was probably in her mid-20s. She didn't look very much older. I doubt she was 30, but you know, he had his food sitting in front of him. It was getting cold and stuff. I guess he didn't like it or whatever. She was on the damn phone. I mean, and it was bad, you know. She was just, whoever she was talking to was getting all the attention, and then she was just cursing. And I'm not nobody for cursing. I like to curse myself, but it was just like he got zero, and he's sitting there. Yeah, he's sitting there. You guys are having dinner. He's sitting directly across from you, and he can't. You know, he has to, you know, knock a glass of water over, or you know,
in order to get
stand on the table, or in order to get some attention. And I was just like, this is, you know, this is terrible. You know, this. And I was so tempted to say something, but you know,
mind your own motherfucking business. You cussed at your head.
Right, and I'm ready for that, because you know, I know those interactions. I've been there before, and I had to ask myself, you know, would that be wrong to? I don't think it is, honestly, but the only reason I didn't was because I ain't gonna say the only reason, but one of the major reasons I didn't was because I had my family there, and I didn't want to bring that attention. Right, you know, if it was just me, I probably, you know, I may have said something, because it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sitting there. First of all, she's raising one of these young men, like I said, and I can tell, you know, it's just I say I can tell. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because he's getting nothing from his mother. And I could have just came in. It could be happenstance. I came in when, you know, they might have been sitting there loving each other the whole time. As soon as I come in, she get on the phone. That could have happened like that, but I doubt it. But it could have been that way. But you made me think about that when you said they actually like each other or whatever, because she's like, she could care less whether he was there or not, just the way she was carrying on and everything.
And I think the whole thing about the phone situation, like you're saying, I think we do too much of pacifying kids with electronics. So I think that's another way we could be problematic, is that we miss opportunities to interact with our children and impart different knowledge in our children. We only have a certain amount of time before they get to the age, usually around 13, 14, when you get to the age where they're like, they really don't want to hear what you have to say as a parent.
or they've heard it so much that it's like if you hadn't changed your message up, it's kind of get like, oh man, I done heard this shit
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. They
You know?
tune you out. They start tuning out.
Yes, people, your kids do cuss. They say,
Oh, yeah.
they say that to themselves. I done heard this shit before. You know?
Listen to me. If they're playing Fortnite, you'll hear some cuss
You
words.
hear plenty of cursing, man. But like you said, and it's if you don't pay attention to that, you'll look up and your kids are grown, and you missed on all those special times, you know, to pour into your kids or whoever. But another example, I was you made me think about it when you was talking about pacifying these kids, and this tells you what we're dealing with today. I was at I'm gonna say the name of this place. I was at Waffle House, man, and you know, having some food or whatever. Family come in there. Young man, he was at least 10. Him, his sister, his mom, and his dad. So just because you got a dad in the household doesn't mean everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Came to the table with his what's the biggest iPad? He had the biggest one.
Yeah.
Came to the table with his biggest iPad.
Yeah.
Nobody talking to nobody. Sister on the phone, dad on his phone, mama sitting there twiddling her thumbs. So he's playing whatever. And they finally get their food or whatever. And he didn't stop playing. He kept on, you know, doing whatever. His mom started cutting up his waffle. Now this joker was 10.
Yeah, he 10.
He was double digits.
Oh wow.
Hey, and then when she got finished cutting it up, that mother might have stuck his head out like this. Took the fork and put it in his mouth. I was like, what in the hell?
Exactly.
And I was like, his dad is sitting right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this what we doing?
Or that could have been a stepdad and he doesn't interact.
I'm gonna say it wasn't only because it was a mixed couple. So when I say mixed, it wasn't
interracial.
It was interracial, but it wasn't black and white. It was black and something else. So I'm pretty sure it was that. I don't know that for a fact, but I was just
and that's what she was the other race.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, she could just date black dudes. So
I don't know, but that is not how you raise a son at all. In my opinion, for him, I don't even know if he knew what was going on because he was all up in his, you know. So we got a lot of work to do, you know, because that to me, that situation was part of the problem. Yeah. With the product that we have today as young men, you know.
Yeah. And that's what we hear. Like we hear this from a lot of women. A lot of women want to say men are the problem, men are the problem. And if that's part of the problem, and you know that's part of the problem, you're saying that, what are you doing about that as far as when you're raising your children or raising your young men?
Are you bringing positive male role models around? You know, I know daddies ain't always there, but like you said, what are you doing to rectify that? If you want to change the problem of men being the problem, how are you affecting that? You know.
Hey, I'm glad you said that. There's a video that came up. Go ahead, talk. Now I'm gonna try to do this, but yeah, we have to understand, like, we get caught up in all the stuff that's going on,
all the distractions.
Yeah, all the distractions, and because we are more focused on these distractions, we give our kids distractions so we can focus more on the distractions.
And it's go ahead. It's gonna lead to mental health issues down the road because nobody's gonna understand how to cope without these distractions. And that's all it is a distraction.
ADHD is going to be real high.
Oh because man, it's like I said, the mental health is going to be off the charts, and people are not going to understand why until they do it. Unless somebody comes out and points it out to them, this is where you went wrong at this point in your life. But it's going to be serious because now it's like constant. Our brains are being overloaded with it's this constant stimulation everywhere we turn, and it's like a drug. You get that dopamine release, and when you don't have it, you're looking for it, and it becomes like a part of your being. You know, oh, I have to pick up my phone, or I have to have the TV on, even though you're not looking at it. You know, it has to be on, or I got to have the radio. You know, sometimes it's okay to just have a little silence, and you know, turn out all the outside stimulation and outside influences, and spend some time. You know me, I like to spend some time with yourself. You know, get alone and get private with yourself, and
not in a sexual way.
Even if it's that, if it's just you and your, I mean, it's just you. You know,
I don't long as you be a solution for it.
As long as you use no aids, no stimulation outside of yourself. You know, but what I'm saying is, it's gonna take a heavy toll mentally on people in the future because the more you, it's just like drugs, because it's giving you really the same release. So the more you do it, the more you need of it in order to get to that same point.
Yeah.
So you know how you got to smoke more crack. Well, you don't know that.
Yeah,
but what I heard,
I definitely don't know.
You know, the more you smoke it, the more you got to smoke in order to get, get to where you're trying to go. Same thing with all the outside stimulation, man. You know, the more you bring that into your life, the more you need it in order to get just to that even kill.
Yeah.
And I saw, I've seen people talk about doing like I think they call it a fast, like media fasting and stuff like that. I don't know why they had to give it a special name.
Because that's what we do.
Just turn the shit off. Just let's call it what it is. Let's turn it off. You know, but you know they got all these fancy names, and half the time I don't know what the hell they talking about when they say it. So I have to like read. Oh, they talking about turning off the TV, or they're talking about not looking at YouTube or Facebook or whatever Instagram. So.
Because that's what we do. We got to name everything. We got to put a title on it.
And that diminishes the value a lot of times.
Oh, look at Daddy.
He's not my grandma.
Really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail.
No, hold on a second. I'm trying to put
So, can I on his? Can they see that?
No, they can't see.
Oh,
but I'm about
yeah, he didn't prepare me for that one.
No.
But,
yeah, I'm
really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail and I miss him.
Wow.
So,
you guys in for a treat. I tell you.
See my damn ain't acting right.
Roll down.
Oh man, I wish you guys could see.
Yeah, I'm about to put it on.
But anyway, I got distracted for what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm about to put it on.
Okay.
No, what you're saying? I'm about to put it on a second.
Oh. What was I talking about? Just the outside stimulation though. But it's gonna show up in about. It's probably already showing up in a lot of the teenagers now, because that's the culture they grew up in. Is that constant stimulation, and it's gonna be hard to maintain that level of stimulation. Turn some of this shit off, man. I promise you won't die, and you'll probably find other shit that you've been missing in life, because that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna miss out on so much of life because they had all these distractions where they couldn't focus on anything.
Yeah.
So
but what the? Like my computer ain't acting right. My computer's part of the problem. And I'm trying to be the solution.
Be the solution, brother.
I'm trying to
be the solution.
I'm trying.
Don't let the computer define you.
There we go.
Don't let the computer define you.
Okay, here we go. All right, folks. This is it right here. We'll play this real quick clip. Some of them.
Oh, look at Daddy.
He's not my grandma.
Really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail and I miss him.
So
I roll down.
So
roll down the window. What? Yeah, I know.
Is that her dad right there?
No, that was the stepdad, and
that they was telling her to roll down the window.
No, that was something different.
Oh, that's something different.
With a whole different clip. But no, and that's the thing. You know, these children are gonna suffer. You know, but I posted that earlier today, and you know, shout out to the brother. He's taking time with her,
right?
You know, and
unfortunately, she's not of the age to understand how important that is, how meaningful that is. That somebody who, like she said, is not your dad is willing to share his time with you, because your dad is definitely not sharing it. Now I don't know what he does once he gets out of jail.
Yeah, true.
But right now he's not there to share that time with you. So that's heavy. But she probably would never see the significance of that gentleman being in her life. You know, trying to help
maybe
her
when she get older, and maybe when she really gets to see her dad, or you know, speaks to her dad, and the dad, you don't have the same interaction you have with. You have the same interaction that you do with him, and you know, once she start to understand that, then she says, "Okay, but this is the man that's around."
Yeah.
Part of the problem that like that shows is the lack of the father, the actual biological father in her life, and it could cause issues. Like girls become they start seeking male validation, and that happens. With that happening, becomes early teenage pregnancies, open itself up to all kind of other stuff like getting raped and everything.
Man, I think you're right. Did we just get cut off?
Yeah, they don't.
Well, it's just a visual though. I think they can still hear us.
Okay, yeah, it's just visual. Early teenage pregnancies and stuff like that, because of the fact that you being the biological father aren't in their lives. Right. You know, you're part of that problem, and for whatever reason. I mean, to me, if you make a child, that's your responsibility. I don't care how the child came about, under what circumstances. That child didn't ask to be here.
Right.
You know, that child is another post I put up. Children are the casualties of the sins of the parents.
Hey, they're the casualties of war.
Yeah, the war. Yeah,
The
sometimes it is
war.
war, but you know they become the casualties, and we need to get to the point where we stop worrying about ourselves as being adults, trying to live our best life and all that other stuff, and start putting the needs of the kids first. You know,
and that's what I was pointing out when I was bringing up the example of the lady and her son at the restaurant. She could care less that he was there. Now he wanted her attention. He's sitting there looking at her dead in her face the entire time. You know, and it was awful because all she had for him was beratement. Whenever she did speak to him, it was
sit your ass down.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You done seen it before.
Yeah.
It's like a movie. I've seen this a couple times.
Women's clothing store. You see it all the time. They come in there and they looking at clothes and they children be whatever, and they stop long enough looking at clothes just to cuss the kid out. Stop all that damn running around. You know,
kids are not an accessory. They are little people that need molding, especially at that age. Constant, attention, molding them, building them up, so they can go out here and be productive citizens of society. So that's
and I think the craziest part of this situation, right? The whole problem with inner relationships in the Black community, man-woman relationships, and also with raising kids. The craziest part of it is that we are at the pinnacle of our Black existence. Like we are the highest point we've ever been in this history of this here United States of America.
Yeah, and I don't want to say success, but
no.
But we had like you said, we had our highest point. This is our highest status in society.
And I could say that we're failing, even though we're at the highest point. As a people, we are failing. I mean, if you look at the last generation or 2 generations ago, right, they weren't as educated as we are now.
Right.
But they made educated kids. Like they gave enough attention. They did enough to make sure their kids had what they needed to become educated. The engineers, the doctors, the lawyers. The 2 generations ago birthed all this.
They weren't as financially stable as
we
are today.
They weren't either. Yeah.
But we still are worse off financially.
We're worse off.
We don't know how to. You say budget to somebody, they look at you like you done lost your mind.
What? Ball out? What did you say? Ball out? That's what you meant? Ball out? Ball out? Oh, you spell ball out wrong.
We have more today than compared to past generations, but we're doing less with it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And that goes back to our programming, right?
Programming.
Part of the problem is the programming. And I think a lot of us are part of that problem because we don't interrupt that programming. A lot of us understand like how these images are coming to us, right? The whole reason this podcast and other podcasts like this with Black people that are trying to do responsible things is they're trying to control the image of the Black. This one is about controlling the image of the Black man, right? So we're trying to control our own image, but we have mainstream media that controls the image already, right? They give you images based on what you already believe, just so they can sell you shit. Because the way, once again, I've said this before, but for the new people who came along, hey, how y'all doing? I'm Will. The way this works is that TV, they don't give a shit about their TV shows. It might be good TV shows, but they don't care about that. They care about those commercials in between the slots because that's how they make money to give you the TV shows. And these commercials is to give to you, just so y'all could buy whatever the hell they want to buy. So it's a self-perpetuating problem to where, you've watched these ignorant ass shows. We're going to talk about reality TV. You watch these ignorant ass shows and it's pushing a problem. And by you watching it, right, you're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution because you say, no, I'm not watching that because it shows Black women in a negative light, because it shows Black women always fussing with each other, always have drama, treating each other a certain way, or men dogging the women. Excuse me. Men dogging women. You're watching this stuff, which is saying to them, oh yeah, that's what they want to see.
Right. This is entertainment.
This is entertainment for them.
And even if go ahead.
Go ahead.
Even if you understand it as entertainment, and that's as far as you see it. If you're giving it the attention that you're giving it, if they're able to sell ad space in that time slot, they can continue to produce the same kind of products for you throughout the day. Maybe this show come on at 8, but then at 9 o'clock, it's gonna be some of the same old bullshit selling you the same ad space. So it's.
But they also make more shows of that because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they continue to make that. Oh, you like this, so we're gonna make some more of this. They might change a character here, or it's men not doing this. It's always something. But whatever you watch, they're gonna continue to feed that.
And I'm gonna give you an example, right? If you don't believe what I'm saying about this whole situation, I just put out in front of you. If you remember, we didn't really have any black superheroes. Black Panther came along and everybody went over there and supported this shit like crazy. So now you see an influx of black characters, black directors, black people that Jordan Peele got on because of that. Then he put Get Out, and it did wonderfully. Then when I can't remember the other black director they just had. He has a TV show though. He did a TV show. Can't remember. But Jordan Peele has done a couple other things, black TV, and they've been giving black people opportunities to paint us in our own light, in our own image, basically
in a different narrative.
Yeah, make our own narrative. So they had to see that, and we supported it. So that's when you started seeing the change. It's not because it's really not. I mean, yeah, somebody had to come out first, but it's not because they came out first, and people believed them. No, it's because they saw the money was in it. Even though I don't care too much about Tyler Perry's stuff he put out, he to me, some of the stuff he put out is part of the problem. But what I can say is the solution that he offers is that he employs a lot of black actors. He
a lot of bad black actors at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest,
Well, some of these are.
I think they're new. I think they're
no. Some of these old. Yeah, some of them are old, and like he employs Cicely Tyson till she, so
right.
He gives a lot of people opportunities.
I'm thinking about a lot of the actors that he brings into his shows.
Talking about TV shows.
Yeah. In passing, I don't watch. They're not very good, but that's neither here nor there. But that says a lot about him.
Yeah,
he doesn't even. I'm not gonna say he doesn't care, but he's willing to take a mediocre actor and give them a job. Whereas if it weren't for him, they probably wouldn't be doing anything. They'd be doing theater somewhere or something where they wouldn't be getting a paycheck probably.
Yeah, no, and that's the good thing about that. The solution part of it is that, like you say, he employs black people, which can give them financial leverage to do other things with in other places. He sows seeds, and I can say he's good at that, sowing seeds and making opportunities.
If it's something as simple as being able to feed their family, beyond the doing other stuff, but putting food on the table, putting a roof over their head, making sure their kids have clothes. So I mean, that's a step in the right direction right there. And then, like I said, with the extra, or if they have excess, then they start to create other foundations and build from there. So,
supporting other black people. Let's say they get a house, they're not going to be around to do the lawn work or anything like that. So they might get a black landscaper, something like that. So boom, you got somebody that got work out of it that probably wouldn't have got that.
Right.
So it all matters. But I think the biggest, so that matters in the micro. Like the macro is the bigger problem I have with Tyler Perry with the certain images he does, is that you paint a black man a certain picture, and it's usually a dark-skinned black man that gets the ain't shit role. He ain't shit, and then you get the light-skinned brother that come in and he saved the day. He saved the day. So if it was more balanced, then I'm like, all right, whatever. But it's in your face. Like
I ain't even mad at you, Tyler. You gotta give the people what they want. They don't want no dark skinned hero coming.
I guess they don't. Shit. I guess they don't.
I don't know, but yeah, you're
right. But that's what usually happens. I mean, I think he had one movie. I think Daddy's Girl.
Like I say, Idris was in.
Daddy's Girl. Yeah.
I guess he considered dark skin.
Yeah. No. He's yeah. So he had that movie, but majority of his movies, I want to say 80% of his movies is what I just explained. So
I'm not even gonna go into depth about what I think about. But you doing a good job. Go ahead. We'll leave it at that.
I mean, but that's just something I could point out. It's
Right.
it's so in your face, right? That that I gotta mention it. So
right, and I just rather yeah, so you got to mention it, but I will, like I said, point out the positive things that he is doing. Like you said, he is providing a lot for a lot of people. So that, I'm gonna focus on that. But yeah, he could change up that narrative a little bit if he wanted to. But it's his company. He do it.
no,
however he wants
and I agree.
Yeah.
It's your company, Tyler. You do what you want to. But I'm just saying, it could be. You're rich enough, right? You can change this shit all the way up. You can change the game all the way up, and nobody's gonna bat eye, right? They were like, "Oh shit, this from Tyler Perry," you know. So
because he did a couple times when he was like the little, was that, I guess that was his movie when he was like a secret agent or something like that.
Alex Cross,
was it that?
I think it was Alex Cross. He was like a lawyer or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's like more of action almost movie.
I gave him more props. I thought it was a secret agent, and like
he could have been. No, he wasn't a secret agent. He could have been. He could have been like a ex police officer. I can't remember, but I think the name of it was Alex Cross.
He could do more stuff like that, and I think people will support it just because it has his name on it. And then you could, like you said, start putting people in different lights, and oh damn, we can save the day. We can, you know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, and I've never believed that from watching the movie because I understood it was entertainment, but I'm starting to realize that a lot of, I can't even say young people, young and older people use that as their template of how they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I never knew that until I got a little older and realized people measure themselves based on what they see, how they see themselves, well, not necessarily themselves, but how they're portrayed in life and on TV. Because we, you know, I see a lot of people try to follow up all this stuff out here in these streets, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Think about all these stars, right? Like I said, reality TV. Think about that. Think about Megan Stallion, Cardi B's, you know, people like that. They have influence. Like if you don't believe that, right? On One in the Love of Hip Hop or whatever that shit is, right? They say a catchphrase. Next thing you know, you hear other women saying the same shit. Like, what the hell? You know, I can't remember the phrase because I can't remember what it was. It happened a while back. But then you hear this, like, okay, really? Like, then it reverberates whatever throughout social media, and everybody's catching on.
Yeah, next thing you know, you hear them saying on the news.
Yes,
or
shit
saying,
like that.
You might hear the president say it. You know,
you hear it, and that's just how quick, right? It's because the way our mind works. Like we are everybody. I can't. It's not really tribal, but we are. I can't remember. I can't.
We are animals.
Yeah, we're animals.
We're mammals.
And
very simple creatures that can go against their instinct.
Group mentality, right? We have group mentality, right? We want to belong. As people, we always want to belong to a group that we feel is the biggest group because we want to be relevant. We want to feel, you know, like we're not missing out on anything. And that's how they get us, right? With these images. Just like I always bring back I'm a student in history, right? I always bring back how Hitler, right? How Hitler was able to gain power. It was through media. It was through the fact that he put out pamphlets to say certain things, and people joined his cause. The fact that they felt like Jewish people was less than German people. If you wasn't pure blood German, you were less than. And he started off with just Jewish. Then he went to, okay, if you have any Jewish blood, then you part of them too. Yeah. So
then he went to like all the traits.
Yeah.
Oh, what color? Oh,
yeah.
No. But that's how it works. And unfortunately, people don't realize, you know, I guess as long as it's not affecting you, you think it's okay. But guess what? They're coming for you next.
Exactly. That's the thing we don't understand, right? We don't understand that. Let's go to Trump, right? He's out. Nobody heard from him. So let's go to Trump. So just like Trump was messing with the immigrants, right? He was messing with the Mexicans and, you know, talking about they were rapists and all this other stuff. And black people was like, oh, okay, well, you ain't talking to. No, you can't do that because eventually it's going to turn to you. Like you're not too far off that totem pole, right? At this point, they were at the bottom, but you the next rung up. I mean, there ain't no buffer between us and them. Really ain't. People of color, we all people of color. If somebody's racist, they ain't gonna say, oh, you know what, you black, you've been in this country a long time. Your people that suffer, you want better than them damn immigrants. No. They're gonna come after you too. So, you know, that's the whole thing that like people don't understand. You know, we can't afford as black people, we can't afford to look the other way and say, this is not my problem. You know, we were good about that in the 60s to where we were more of a community. You know, if that child down the street is doing something, I'm not gonna say no, that wouldn't happen because eventually it might come to your door.
Yeah.
That you know that child
Right.
down the street breaking in somebody's house and you're not saying nothing.
Right.
Oh, but you gonna get mad if he breaking your house next. Oh, no.
Right.
You should have said something.
And see, that used to be my thing with like when these crimes used to be taking place in different neighborhoods. And I'm like, well, we know these are your children doing this. This is not for the most part, people, what they do now. That's the new crime. They drive 40 miles to break in other neighborhoods. But
Johns Creek, they go in different areas.
But for a long time, people just did crimes right there where they live, you know, because they were familiar with that area, you know. So, but I was like, this is your community that's doing this to you. So, like, and that's why I felt like I should have said something to that young lady when I was at the restaurant. But then like I said, I didn't want to bring my family into it. So I was like, you know, I have to pass on this. You know, you gotta pick your battles or whatever. But yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I agree. You got to address the problem when you see it, because if not, it's not going away. Just because it's not in your neighborhood today, give it a month, give it a year, give it 2 years. It's in your neighborhood.
And I'm going to say something in hopes that it don't sound misogynistic.
Oh, right? You being misogynistic.
I'm being a misogynist. I'm going to say something in hopes of not being sounding misogynistic. But we've got to a place because of, you know, we're talking about the fact that you want to talk to the young lady or whatever to tell us something, right? We've got to the place to where I think that a lot of females will not listen to anything anybody says, right? You can't talk to them in the manner that you was about to talk to them, right? You can't talk to them in that manner. I don't think. Okay, so young people in that place. I'm gonna back it up and change it. Right, young people in a certain place. No, I'm not.
He backtracking.
I'm backtracking.
White knight. No,
yeah, white knight. Simp. We didn't got we were younger people, right? You can't tell them much of anything. But the reason why I pointed out women is because women are the first teachers of children.
I can agree with that 100%.
That's why I want to zero in on women. You know, that's why I started that way. They're the first teachers of the children. So we have to send these messages to the women because, like I said, you said it. We have right now. So if we impart this certain knowledge in women, young women, before they get any kids, that could change drastically, right? Because once they have little boys, they can impart the knowledge in the boys, and then it'll grow from there. Now, the boys that are grown right now, yeah, you're gonna see their drawers and their sagging pants and all this other. You're gonna see that shit because they are grown. We can't change anybody that's grown already, but at the point that we reach out to these young women, because they're going to be mothers, and if we reach out to them at early enough age, they might not become mothers until they get a certain age, right? It's going to take a effort for women to reach out to women, young women, and give them the correct information, because they have fathers in their lives, but I don't think that the males can give them the information. It stick with them like women giving them information.
I think it depends. Well, not necessarily depends. I think like a young female looks for a young male. They look for different things from each gender, you know, and certain things they hold on to. Like if my wife tried to tell my daughter, you know, how to check oil in the car, she had listened and like, oh, okay, but she's not really. I'm not gonna say she don't take it seriously, but she just like, I think I asked my dad. And you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. If I try to tell her how to apply lipstick or something like that,
oh yeah,
she'd be like, what the hell is really? You know, she might listen. Well, she gonna listen because I'm talking, so she gonna listen. But she gonna be like, yeah, let me.
I need to check.
Yeah,
I need to check with somebody more knowledgeable.
Yeah,
I
right.
ain't never seen you wear lipstick.
Right, I ain't never exactly. But yeah, I think you're right about that. But it's so bad though, because for whatever reason now women feel like they need to compete with men on a physical level,
Yeah.
on a social level, and it's not about competition. It's about coming together. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I guess because of how society has been over the last 20 years or so, they did have to compete at one point, for jobs or whatever. But that, that's once you step away from that corporate America, when you're talking about dealing with one another on a
Personal basis.
personal level, it's no longer a competition. We each bringing something to the table, but allow me to be a man and you be the woman when we doing that, But now you say something to a woman, you can say it as try to be as non-combative as possible, and they want to be combative. It's like they're taking on the men traits that they had to do for so long, even in day-to-day relationships between the opposite sex.
And I think that's even more reason. What you just said is even more reason why it has to come from women to teach the young girls, because we are viewed as being controlling. Because we're already viewed as a problem. The males are viewed as the problem when it comes to females, and there's an automatic wall up, right? As soon as you start talking to somebody, it's like, okay, what do you want? It's automatic. Like it's no more. It's no more where you meet somebody, you think, okay, all right, let me see what they're about. No, they already have an idea. When a black man approaches them, what he's about, or if he says something, they're going to look for if it's coming from a misogynistic place or toxic masculinity, or something like that. It's going to hit. Does he want something negative? And you have to work damn hard in order to get them to change their mind to say that, what, this is from a pure place.
Yeah, and that is being. I hate to use the word bred because they usually say bred with animals or whatever, but that is being indoctrinated to talk to these kids at a young age. I said something to a young lady one day, and it was in jest. I can't remember what it was, but her immediate response was something like you said, "Oh, he's being misogynistic or he's being a chauvinist," and I'm thinking that's not where that came from, but that's where her mind was. I'm like, where are they getting this? And this is what's being put out in society, and a lot of it is taking place in these universities and in this higher learning. And I was just like, wow, is that what you got from what I said? I can't. I wish I could remember what I said to her, but I can't remember. But it was she took it as being, oh, you think women should be,
yeah.
And I was like,
subservient to you men.
Yeah. And I was like, that's not at all what I'm saying. But she, freshman in college, so she knows everything. She understands the world.
A lot of these colleges, they push womanist agendas, right? Because if you look at it, majority of women go to college. It's more women, go to these higher education places, plantations, than men. So it's they have to do something to draw them, just like in church. They cater to a certain crowd.
Go to a church. You don't see no men in there no more.
Majority women. Want to say 80% of women.
Probably 90.
Probably so. Depending on which church you go to.
Right.
Mega churches, I know for sure is majority. And then like the club situation, you let the women in free, and then the men gonna come follow. So it's all following the same structure if you look at it. They cater to women in a certain way, but it's counterproductive to what women actually want. I know it feels good, and a majority of people that hey people that's watching us right now that haven't logged off,
y'all come on in.
I understand that majority of people watch us are women actually, but this is like I feel I would be wrong if I don't point out this stuff, because it's black male, it's about black men. We love y'all black women. We love y'all women in general, and we have to deal with y'all. So it would be counterproductive of me not to mention this also, because if I didn't, I'd be part of the problem. I feel not pointing it out. Not to say I'm blaming y'all. I'm talking about the system, not talking about women in general, but I'm talking about actually the system that has been put in place. And it's not for us. This system is used, and once again, the movie I love, The Matrix. The system is used to we're being used to fuel the system. We're the battery pack for this society in America. It's ran off of capitalism, and we're the battery pack. They cater to women because y'all spend the money. y'all gonna go out there and spend the money y'all got because they've bred a certain thing, and you say you don't want to use bread. I'm gonna use bread because it's intentionally done. That's why I'm using bread.
Yeah, and that's probably the right word to use. I was just trying to choose my words carefully. But go ahead. I think that's the correct word.
It's intentionally done. When you make a society where the male is no longer important in the lives of the family or the children's lives, and you do certain things like Jim Crow, creating bringing drugs to the community, giving to black men so they can sell it to their own people, and you create a problem, and it becomes a black hole almost.
Well, think about it like this. What would have happened if they got rid of all the male elephants, or they canceled the male elephants? They made it where male elephants couldn't. What would happen to elephants?
Yeah, elephants die out.
They would go extinct, and that's what's happening in our community. And I just say elephants just a
no, I understand.
Animal,
yeah, you got to bring the animals. Yeah.
Any animal, when you remove the male from that equation, that animal no longer exists after a certain period of time. That they perish, and that's going to be what happens to the black community if we don't, get our shit together. Why can't we work together? Why can't we
can. It's been proven we can.
Well,
I mean, we have history to show it.
You're right. I'm speaking in general as how society sees it. I know you had this conversation. Brian, he the first one brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know nobody who don't take care of their kids.
No,
and he's right. I don't know any men in my vicinity that don't take care of their family. That don't have a family. But apparently it's a lot of people out there who do know all these other guys, but look how you making that face. What does that mean?
I won't say that because I want to say something to that.
Don't worry about it.
But because I don't have any statistics go along with it to where that I won't sound misogynistic, I'm not gonna say it.
Let's be misogynist.
No, I'm not doing it. But I think, and let's go to statistics. CDC, once again, your ladies, y'all can check this out. CDC has put out something in 2017, 2018 that says that black men are more a part of their children's everyday lives than white men. That's a study that CDC did. And we have to stop carrying these messages that black men aren't shit and deadbeat. They're deadbeats. Yes, we have that. We have men like that.
You're gonna have that in every race.
In every race, yes. And that's what I'm about to say. Yeah.
Our race is painted that way. You don't see any other race painted that way. But
and for everybody that came this new here, right? That's the reason for this title, Black Mailed, right? We are being given a term. We're being like blackballed is a negative term, right? We've been blackmailed. When you see stuff in the paper, blackmail this, blackmail that, blackmail, they point it out for a reason. It's done for a reason to paint us in a certain light, to where they can control our narrative, and in doing that, they control what y'all believe,
right?
Because they control.
Yeah,
they
know me before you meet me.
Yeah. So, and in doing that, it's counterproductive, ladies. It's what happens is that you believe this, so you don't want to do certain things, or don't want to move certain ways, and you keep us away from y'all. Appreciate it, Melissa. I'm glad I don't sound misogynistic. I'm glad. I'm trying hard up here. I'm trying not to be part of the problem. I'm trying to be part of the solution. I appreciate you though. It creates where you feed this stuff sometimes subconsciously to your kids. There was a meme or a cartoon that I saw that it showed where the mother didn't. I appreciate you, Mom. Where it shows where the mother talked to, and it's black people, a black woman, black man, whatever. But it spoke to the man, and you ain't shit, this, that, the other. So you got the daughter, and you got the son right next to her while she talking shit to the man. And so the man is leaving the house. He's leaving her. So the daughter's sitting there, and you can see the little thought bubble, and says, I don't want a man when I grow up, because she's hearing the mom say the men ain't shit. The son is sitting there with the bubble saying, well, I don't want to be a man.
Yeah, I don't want to get
You know,
treated like
I don't want to
that.
get treated like shit. Yes,
Right.
I don't want to be treated like that because he views however he views it, and we don't know the whole situation based on this little cartoon or whatever. We don't know the whole situation, but you got to realize that's how it plays out to the younger generation, right? They see the outcome, and they make up in their mind whether they want that outcome or not. Like, okay, well, every time my mom gets a man, right, they're fussing because it doesn't work out. They're not going to comprehend why it doesn't work out.
Right.
They're not going to comprehend that maybe your mother doesn't have a good idea, a good overall view of men, because it could be men's fault, the generation before that they weren't, in the household with their mother,
Right.
but she's never been under a man's authority, or not authority, but she's never been under a man's in the household with a man.
Supervision or authority,
Yeah,
however you want to say
provision.
it.
Yeah.
If her dad
yeah.
wasn't in that household, she doesn't know how a man should interact with a family a lot of times.
Mhm.
So it's, that's what I think.
So the only information that she's got is of what she sees from Tyler Perry.
Ooh.
And or people that do certain things and paint us in a certain light. And so we got people walking out here half cocked with bullshit information, and they're raising kids, and it's going to get bullshit outcomes.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. This is kind of counterproductive, and that's part of the problem. We're being counterproductive and not really knowing it. Like, the biggest problem I think we have in our community also is that we decide to worry about what we put on our kids' backs and on our kids' feet versus what we put in our kids' heads.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem we have, because we give them we basically subconsciously tell them that you're not worth anything unless you have these items.
Right. And they pick up on that real fast.
Real quick. Yeah.
Real fast.
Like I told my son, like he got some white G Nikes, right?
Oh,
I see him walking.
Some white what?
Air Force Ones. They call them G Nikes. Yeah.
See,
that's I think that's New Orleans term.
But I'm getting old.
Yeah, but walking crazy or whatever. Like, what the hell you walking like that for?
About this one.
I don't want to crease them. Nah. You don't want to crease your shoes. You're walking on your shoes.
You're walking on
them. Your feet are going to grow. You're not fully grown, so eventually you're going to grow out of them. Does it matter if they're creased or not? When you grow out of them, they're gonna be uncreased. But what you gonna do with them? Are you gonna keep them forever? No. Oh, okay.
He's not worth it if he got creased. What you call them? G1,
G Nikes.
G Nikes. He's not worth it if he got creased G Nikes, man. So
yeah.
But you're right, and so often, and I'm not getting on single moms or anything like that, but their idea of being, I take care of my kids is because they have the latest clothes, the newest game system, whatever the case may be. But in reality, none of that stuff is necessary to raise a child as far as the fanciest clothes, the newest. You want to educate your kids. Of course, you want them to be clothed, and you want to make it as easy as possible for them to get through society. Because I know how kids can be. Because I was one of those kids.
Yeah.
I used to talk
Me
shit
too.
about all of them. So but in reality, I think education is what you really want to give your kids. And I've always said, if you want to teach your kids, if you want your kids to know something, you need to teach it to them yourself. Don't wait for a school to do it or anything like that. But that's what these kids need. Is information and education. I tell young people all the time, I said, if I had the internet when I was growing up,
you wouldn't be shit. I wouldn't be shit. I know already.
But no, I wasn't going that direction. I was going to say, I felt like I could take over the world because
no, you wouldn't. Not as a child.
You may
not as a child.
You may or may not be right, but I know
Pornhub. What you would have been doing Pornhub?
It'd be between taking over the world and Pornhub.
Okay.
It'd be a split. I would
so your little mind.
My time. 50% of the time taking over the world, other 50%. I'm telling you.
Okay. If you say so.
For me, I was always looking for information.
Okay.
Information. That was my thing because I saw we math is math. I don't care what school you go to. English is English, no matter what school you go to. But then when you got beyond the basics, where I went to school, you could only learn French or Spanish. Some of these other schools, they had Mandarin,
Latin,
Japanese, Latin, and I'm like, well, why the hell, I like Bruce Lee growing up. I want to, I want to speak this other language, but it wasn't offered to me.
Yeah.
I promise you, if I had access to be able to learn a different language on the internet, I would have been all in it, man. I think language is one of the most important things in the world, and especially when you're talking about going across different cultures like that, I would have loved it.
Well,
But-
I wouldn't have, because you know why? Because we have
of
translate.
Pornhub.
No, we have translators
Oh.
now, so I wouldn't
Oh,
even
nah.
spend my time trying to learn that. I spend my time, and I'm kind of
Well-
like that. I'm kind of like that. I was into all kind of shit. Like I was into hood shit when I was in school,
Right.
but I was into, I don't know how at that time. My is crazy. I was into a science club. I was into
Right.
math
See,
club.
that's
I
what
was
I'm
into
saying. I did all that.
basketball. I played. I was
I
in a
use
bunch of
language as
stuff.
an example,
Yeah.
but that's just I think that's little boys period.
Mhm.
I was tearing everything up. Any
Yeah,
toy I had, it was destroyed. I had taken it apart,
Yeah. Mhm.
figured out how it worked, and then tried to put it back together. And I eventually learned how things work for the most part, because they all still work the same way. But the amount of information out there, when I can just go to a keyboard, you remember encyclopedias?
Yeah. Mhm.
You got
Yeah, I wanted an encyclopedia and they wouldn't buy one.
you had to do a project. You had to go to the encyclopedia,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 4 paragraphs about a
Uh-huh.
subject, and that's all. So, like, well, this is all I got. I got to
Yeah.
write a 10-page paper. I don't know
Yeah.
how the hell I'm gonna do it, with this information. But now there'd been a lot of Pornhub in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I would've
as
split
long as
my-
you, as long as you,
I would have split my time
Okay.
up 50-50.
All right.
It would have been, plenty
But-
of encyclopedia
but
action.
I think it would have like, we'd have been stagnated earlier. That's you, that's you. But I don't think, like, for majority kids.
Well, you know what? I think my parents probably would have did a better job of monitoring it as well. Though. I don't think they would have, because now that is one of the distractions. They just kind of throw your kids, all right, give them the phone or whatever.
No, and I agree. I think
I
our
don't-
parents probably would have monitored it. Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
look at
yeah,
TV during the
yeah.
week,
Me
simple
either.
stuff. So if we had the internet and my old man knew Pornhub was on there, hey, first of all,
Give me the damn thing.
hey, we'd have one computer.
And he would have.
It'd be in the kitchen. And
Oh, yeah.
and they'd be sitting right there with me. So you're probably right. Pornhub would be cut back to probably about 10% when wasn't nobody at home. But it
Looking on your show.
right. Imagine the internet in that time when everybody didn't have a phone.
Mhm.
If you had a computer in your home, you were considered to be
Rich.
Rich.
Yeah, you're rich.
So if we had an internet and a computer, it would probably only be one.
Yeah.
And it'd be slow as hell. Well, you can only just
Oh,
pull
yeah,
up
you-
text. So like I said, right, it would have been managed much
Yeah,
better than what
yeah.
it is today. And so Pornhub would have been cut back to about 5%.
Man, yeah,
Man,
you can't even get a full session in
Yeah,
on
man.
that.
I would have had to take over the world.
It's-
Shit, I would have had no choice.
Speed, you'd have been speed whacking. But
Yeah, speed whacker.
yeah, but like I said, I think, I won't wrap this up. I think I'm starting to ramble, but I think, like, we need to start people focusing on
Solutions.
more solution based. Hold on one second. I'm gonna read this. Sorry guys, I'm late. Could you please talk again about legalized cannabis topic? I missed it. What?
That's
What?
the wrong one.
Yeah, you're on the wrong one. Greetings from Brazil. Greetings from Brazil to you, but we ain't talking about legalizing cannabis. Y'all watching us big screen, I appreciate that, but we're not talking about cannabis. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Y'all could talk about that over there on Twitch. Anyway, I think somebody trolling me. Anyway, they ain't got me. You threw me
Got
off.
him off his
You
spot.
you did what you did what you tried to do. You threw me off.
accomplished your goal.
No, we can talk about that another time. Can you? Hey, go ahead on and on Twitch. Send me a message on Twitch or however they do it, because I don't be on Twitch like that, and I'll make that part of the topic one time. Talk about legalizing marijuana and the effects and everything, scientific, and talk about statistics and all that other stuff. Right now, we're talking about the black family.
This is the Black Male Podcast.
No problem. You good. Just go ahead on and like us on there, whatever, follow us and put it out there, and I'll talk about it. That's not a problem. But yeah, we need to worry about like the solution. We need to become solution based. And my solutions is worry about the new generation. I mean, we at one point we worried about the next generation. We cared about our legacies at one point. We allowed people to tell us that it didn't matter. We allowed people to tell us that what matters is how people think of us today, like how we being viewed today. which it doesn't. I mean, at some point we're going to be gone. At some point we're going to be laying on our bed and we're not going to be able to dress fresh. We're not going to be able to do anything but say, okay, what did I do when I was here? What did I do? You know, when you have that, when you got that obituary, right? You see that born here and the final date, you got the little dash in the middle. You're going to be laying on your deathbed or whatever bed you're laying on. You're going to be worrying about that dash. And it's going to come back to you like, was I part of the problem? Was I part of the solution? You know, how much did I do during that dash that helped other people, that helped my family, even that, because I don't use, a lot of times I don't see people, kids don't have college funds, kids don't have insurance policies. Like that is something that as a parent, that should be your number one priority is taking care, making sure when you're dead and when you're on in a certain way that your children are going to be provided for, whether you're there or not. You know, I see so many people, I hear so many people not even having that.
I don't think that's common knowledge to a lot of people. And if nobody tells you that, you don't think about it, you know, because let's be honest, when you finally start making a little money, you're like, ooh, I can buy this, I can buy. But like you said, insurance is very important.
Yeah.
If something happens to one of the parents, you need to be able to provide for those kids after the fact.
Yeah.
You know,
too many times I see like GoFundMe on social media, like, oh, this person died. Okay, GoFundMe.
I think
no,
that's more of a trendy thing. Now I think it's
they do it for everything.
They do it for everything.
Yeah,
now I don't know if people need it or not, but I think people look at that as a way to get funding for.
I went to Atlanta for whatever spring break and I can't make it back.
Wow.
You know, stuff like that. It's crazy, but I mean that's the hustle. But okay, people that's looking, I think is more women on here. I think. I got a favor, ladies. So, and it's not misogynistic, I promise you. I got a favor, right? If you have teenage sons, right, put them on this content. On that scrolling marquee right there, it is you know, YouTube, ADHD Hour podcast. Go there, subscribe, like it. Put your sons on this. Like, how can we be part of the solution if these younger generation don't even hear us?
Watch it with them.
Yeah, and y'all could talk about
Ask
it.
them
Like
questions, right?
Yeah,
y'all have a conversation.
If y'all want us to talk about certain things from a male perspective, and that you, so let's say you don't feel comfortable talking to your son about sexual whatever, you know, condoms or something like that, right? Or whatever it is. I'm just throwing it out there, right? Hey, reach out to us and we'll do a whole podcast about it, and that way you can sit down and have that talk with your sons or or your children or whoever. That's Black Male Podcast for that, right? Black Male Podcast try to reach out to the males, talk about stuff, chop stuff about males, and women. You're invited to hear the way men think. You could also use us, like I said, to get reach your sons.
Yeah. Use us as a sounding board.
Yeah.
You know,
if y'all want to know each other, anything, reach out to us. Hey, we'll talk about it.
And let me just say this: be willing to accept that men and women are different. We have different views on how we approach stuff, and just be receptive to it. Because you can do that with us because you don't have any attachments to us, and it won't be as threatening of a situation. I don't think. I think you can just kind of let us speak, and then just accept that that's who we are as creatures. You know, we are all animals when we get down to the basics. I like getting back to the basics.
Yeah. Plus, we don't have a dog in the fight in your life, right? If you want to know something, how a man might think,
I have no prejudice in my answer towards you.
I mean, we're going to tell you what we think, how we think men are going to deal with the situation, and maybe you come away with a better understanding. If you hear something that we're saying that might seem problematic, like I said, misogynistic or whatever you want to call it, hey, call me out on this shit. I don't, and if I think it's a problem, we're going to talk about it and come up with a middle ground. And we're gonna be interactive.
Not necessarily middle ground, just agree to disagree.
Yeah, and we could do that too. Yeah. But if it's
really
a problem,
if they're persuasive enough to, and you like, oh, okay, I see that. Yeah. But but sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes, and you just have to stand on that. That's who you are, principle wise. So,
and to be honest, just to let y'all know, we have a couple people that are therapists that follow the content. And one of them is a good friend of mine, and she called me out on my shit. So, no, she called me. I mean, if it was an issue, she called me out. I have this podcast. I have another podcast, ADHD Hour, with my sister, and we'll fuss on online, on live. We'll fuss about certain
That's
things
gotta be good.
that she thinks is problematic, and we love each other, but we'll fuss about the shit.
That's gotta be good.
We neither one of us know how to back down, but
Brother
and
and sister
yeah.
going at it.
and I have another podcast that is not live, but I put it out, and it's about relationships. It's about getting women to understand the man when dealing with a relationship. And there's another lady, young lady, she's part of that. And it's not really a podcast, it's a conversation, right? Because she's always hit me up about certain things that's going on with dating and stuff. And so I said, hey, we need to put this out here so people can see, how it sounds, whatever, how men think, because some women don't have a clue. They're listening to certain things that they're given from other women. You understand, men are so simple. We're simple, ladies.
Hey,
We're simple.
very.
Majority. I'm not gonna say majority of us are simple. I'm not gonna say all. Majority of us is simple. We want silence. We want, we just want to be at peace. Yes, we want sex, ladies. I'm sorry. If that's toxic masculinity,
That's man stuff right there.
we want sex. We want peace. And we want
made that way.
We just want to. Live our life. But anyway, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you
tuning
for
in.
watching.
I appreciate you from Brazil. Now, hit me up about the cannabis, and Miss Melissa. I appreciate you, Miss Coleman, coming through and tuning in.
Yeah, come see us next week, same time.
Next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. You got anything else?
Good night. No, that's
you
it.
good? Okay.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Gentlemen.
Once again, hey, get your sons to follow us.
Right.
And
ask questions.
We're gonna try to be part of the solution. That's what we want to do. You agree?
I agree, 100%.
I appreciate y'all coming through. See y'all next time.